All right, first things to consider is where you're going to be putting your lighting. We recommend putting them in at the high reveal display row on all of our racking. You have the option for some arch lighting, which we do pre-installed, and up in our cabinetry and some of our other casework items. So the first thing you're going to want to do is think about where you're bringing your power feed in if one doesn't already exist. The system requires a 120 volt 15 amp outlet, and there is an option for having that outlet on a dimmer switch. There are a multitude of options that are acceptable for this system as outlined in the instruction manual that's supplied with the kit. Please reference that manual for specific dimmer switches. Unboxing your kit, you'll find the kit lighting installation instructions with tips and tricks. You'll find a package of zip ties, wire clips and screws, an optional rocker switch for independently switching any of your lighting components, a section of wire for splicing in any pre-installed optional arch lighting, a splice kit in order to do so. We'll cover these two items later. You'll find a terminal block, a power supply cord, your LED tape lighting, your transformer, as well as your section of wire. You'll also find your splice kits for connecting your wire to your tape. The tools required for this project will be a screwdriver, an electric screwdriver. We'll use this for fastening our wire stays, a small Phillips head, and a small flathead screwdriver, a regular or a number 2 flathead and Phillips head combination screwdriver, as well as a pair of electrician snips and wire strippers. We'll also have the optional hot glue gun, which we'll cover later in our tips and tricks. Next thing you're gonna want to do is locate your power transformer. Once you've done that, take your Phillips head screwdriver, unscrew the 4 screws on both the 120 volt side as well as the low voltage side. Remove your caps and place off to the side. You're going to bring your power cord in and you're going to wire it into the 120 volt side of the transformer, also located with the word input. Make sure that there's just enough wire to make contact. If there's excess supplied with the kit, go ahead and make trims. And tighten down your terminal screws. From this point on, make sure it's important to leave the transformer unplugged until installation is complete. Once you have your 120 volt wired, replace the cap and screw back down. Now that we have our 120 volt side wired, we're thinking about running the low voltage side out to our terminal block. In order to do so, you will see there are 2 different terminal blocks here on the end of the transformer. One of those terminal blocks is labeled 0 to 10 volt for full dimmability and independent dimmability with a independent system dimmer. The other one is labeled as regular LED dimmability. Before making any connections onto the low voltage side, note there's the negative and the positive side of this terminal block, which is meant for regular dimmability. If you're interested in dimming down to 0 to 10 volt, you'll use this terminal block with negative and positive indicated on the board. Next up, locate your splice kits. You'll note that one side of the splice kit has a small groove at the bottom of it. This is what will receive the tape. Rotating around, you will see the difference. This is the side that will receive the wire. Tape side, wire side. We're going to strip the sheathing, strip the wire, loosen a series of terminals, and splicing each positive and negative wire onto the appropriate side of the terminal block. Tighten your screws to secure the wire. We now have power coming in from the transformer and power coming out to our lighting system. Using our terminal block, we're going to want to splice in the tape lighting into the wire. In order to do so, you'll note on the tape lighting there are little indicators every 4 inches for where we can cut this tape to length. In order to do so, it's as easy as using a pair of household scissors or some wire snips and being careful to get exactly on the line. Trim like such. As noted, there's the wire side of your terminal splice and the tape side. One tip is, before inserting your tape into the splice block, simply peel back some of the adhesive protector before inserting. This will save a lot of aggravation when you go to tape your lights up. So fold it back and then insert and fasten. Your tape is now securely fastened to the splice. Strip the wire on this side. You do not want to strip too much wire. If you do that, it invites the opportunity for the positive and the negative side to touch, which could potentially short out the system. You'll note here, indicated on the tape is the positive and the negative symbol. Insert the red wire on the positive side, insert the black wire, and tighten it. Now that we've wired or spliced in our LED tape to the terminal, to the transformer, we'll take this extension cord and pretend that it's our power outlet. Simply plug the power cord from the transformer into your outlet, and you'll see you have lights. We want to consider how to power each of our tape lights, which we put in our high reveal row here. In order to do so, Vigilant recommends installing or infishing the low voltage wire behind the uprights and trimming a section, leaving a pigtail to make your splice connections. The other end of this wire will come from the terminal block or the power transformer as needed. Now that we've spliced our wire to our LED tape, using the supplied wire stays, simply secure the wires in with a screw and fasten to the casework as needed. Simply peel back the adhesive backer and take your strip and attach it to the back of your light valance and firmly press it to the back, making sure it adheres well. So one tip we recommend for securing the wire, if the wire stays become too cumbersome, is to use a hot glue gun. So using the tape, which has already been connected and secured to the back of the light valance, bring any excess wire up into the rack itself, making sure that no wire is visible in the high reveal. Next, bring a little bit of wire through the face of the rack, apply a small dab of hot glue, and hold the wire firmly in place for that hot glue to dry. In order to supply wire down to your high reveal row, simply pull one end of the wire that was supplied in the light kit in between products and pull through. You'll note the excess coming from the top of the rack. You'll need to trim and fish enough wire from this trim to get back to your terminal block and poke up into the ceiling, back through behind the product, or directly to the transformer. In the event that you need to run your LED light strips from one rack to another, you're going to need to chase wire in between each of your sections. Splice this wire onto the tape that's behind this light valance and give yourself enough so that you can make your connection over to this light valance. Once both sections have been spliced in, you're going to want to be able to secure this in a concealed spot. My preferred method is the hot glue, a little dab, place and hold. One last dab on the end, place and hold. In the event that you are not using a wall switched outlet or a wall switch, but would still like to be able to control whether your lights are on or off, we've supplied this low voltage rocker switch in order to be able to turn your lights on and off. In order to install this rocker switch, you're going to need an additional section of negative wire to bring you from the transformer to your terminal block, and you can install this rocker switch anywhere on the positive side. As covered previously, note the positive side on the transformer. One wire goes in on that end and fastens there, and the other end from the rocker switch comes over to your terminal block and fastens here. Your section of negative wire will jump from the transformer on the negative side and fasten here, and will come over to your negative side of your terminal block. Once your connections have been spliced, replace the cover and screw down as needed. Make sure your transformer is plugged in and test the switch. When you have selected pre-installed arch lighting, your arch will come pre-installed with 2 puck lights, a Y splitter, and a section of extendable cable, as well as an independent transformer. If you are powering your arch lighting independent of the wine cellar lighting system, in order to power those puck lights, it's simple. Simply plug the transformer into the Y connector or extension cable and plug this into your outlet. Once done, your puck lights will be lit. If you have decided to link your arch lighting into the wine cellar lighting kit, there are a few modifications that you'll need to do. First thing you're going to do is bring your connection all the way back to the Y splitter. In the lighting kit, you'll note there's a supplied plugged extension cable. We simply plug that into the Y splitter. We install the wire into this terminal splice block like such, and screw like such. Now that we've connected the puck lights to the splice kit, we need to think about how we're getting this splice kit powered from the terminal block off of the transformer. In order to do so, we're going to splice in a section of wire cut from the spool that's supplied in the kit. We will screw that down and close the terminal block shut. Once you come from your splice kit to your arch puck lighting, you will then splice the other end of the wire coming from your splice kit on your puck lighting kit into the terminal block. Simply do so by inserting one side onto the negative side and one side onto the positive side.